So, Artic Leopard. We never heard of it before like a few months ago. The first time we heard of this brand, it was from the Dakar Rally, where they had an electric bike class, believe it or not. Those guys don't have to go quite as far as the guys on the big bikes, you know, the HRC bikes and like the Ricky Brabeck crowd. They still have to clear about 100 miles a day. It's pretty impressive. So these guys were all in for that rally. We kind of wanted to try one for ourselves. So what we have are two different models. There's the 800 and the 880. 800 is more or less like a 250 in horsepower and output. The 880 is like a 450. On either one of them, you can control the modes. It's kind of like all the electric bikes we've been experimenting with lately. You get to choose a lot of different stuff. There's an app for your phone on this thing, and you can choose things like power burst, which is how early the torque hits. It lets you adjust almost every aspect of how the power is delivered. You have traction control, power level, and you have what they call power burst, which is how early the power comes on when you first give it gas. You could test that for days before you come up with just the perfect setting. We kind of wrote it as is. You can choose MX Enduro modes and stuff that are all kind of pre-cooked for you. And we left it in MX mode most of the day. To tell you the truth, it's fast. It's pretty damn fast. The 800 is more or less supposed to be power like a 250. The 880 is like a 450, although on both of them, you can change power right with a button on the handlebar. The 800 sells for in the $9,000 range. The 880, which is the big guy, it sells for I think about $11,000, but it has a little more suspension travel and it's upgraded in a number of ways. It's an electric bike, so you got to worry about charging. You can bring a generator out to the track and charge it with 110 volts if you want. That'll take about 3 or 4 hours to go all the way up to the top. You also have a 220 volt charging option if you have a lot of power at home, and it should take about half that. We haven't gone all the way dry and charged it up yet, so we don't quite know exactly how long it'll take on household current. We're anxious to find out that with a lot of other stuff. We've had the thing out for a couple occasions. We know we'll go for at least an hour at full throttle, maybe drive setting 2, which is the middle power output. You could get through most races with that level of range. You would have to probably charge up for the second moto, but you can do a GP. SRA GP is generally 50 minutes long out here in the West. You might struggle a little bit to get through a GNCC, but we're sure someone's going to try it. So right now, we're just getting to learn this bike. We're going to spend the whole day on it, and then maybe we'll put Carson Brown on it and see what he thinks of it, because I know this is all new for him too.
What's going on? It's Carson Brown. Dirtbike magazine guys told me that I had a chance to try the Artic Leopard Electric bikes today. The red one is more of a 250 feel and this black one more of a 450 feel power-wise. So got to try them both, put them both on the track and in the trails. I had honestly a ton of fun with them, and it was pretty cool getting to try something different, especially because, you know, I'm on 2 strokes, 4 strokes, now trying electric stuff for you guys. And it was pretty cool. They have some cool settings on these. You know, you can flip the modes up and down, different engine braking, all of the cool stuff that you might see on other electric bikes these guys have on there. And it was cool. As far as on the track, the suspension was a little bit soft, headset, a little bit of a loose feel, but overall, they both stayed running all the way through. So the red one being the 800 model, it was pretty good. Definitely was lacking on power a bit. So this is where the 880 model comes in. It was really good for as far as responsive wise. The 800 model didn't quite have that power off the crack, even on the highest setting, whereas this one was making it happen for me. And it actually was better in the trails too because of it, being able to hop rocks and logs and all that fun stuff. So overall, I had fun. Can't ask for much more than that. So with these models, they have a front brake up front as normal. They have the rear brake option, and then they also have a lever on the left, which slows it down at the counter shaft. And that was something new for me. When I was hitting that left lever, it pretty much slowed the whole gyro down. So it was like pretty much starting from 0. Whereas if you were just hitting the rear brake, you know, it slows it down, but it still feels like the gyro is kind of still going in the engine. So that was definitely something to get used to. I stuck with the rear brake mostly. The brakes weren't too touchy, but overall pretty good. So as far as what type of riding I would do with this, if I had one, definitely like fun with buddies in your backyard, not gonna worry about the neighbors, not gonna worry about the cops. You can sneak around, do some cool stuff. It's kind of fun, like a playful type of power. As far as like, you know, motoing it on the track and everything, I could definitely see that being good for some people, especially beginners, kind of flipping the maps around and getting the speed just right. But for me, mostly just kind of having fun with it.